The history of Stowe, Pennsylvania, a town built along the road long before traffic lights, storefronts, and steady streams of cars. The land that would become Stowe was quiet. Rolling hills, thick woods, small farms cut carefully from the soil. This was southeastern Pennsylvania in its earliest form, shaped not by industry yet, but by movement, paths, roads, and the people who followed them. Stowe's story is not one of grand battles or famous landmarks. It is the story of how ordinary places grow, slowly, almost accidentally, into towns. Before Stowe had a name. Before Stowe existed, the land belonged to the Lenape people, who lived lightly on it, moving with the seasons and using the nearby waterways and forests for survival. When European settlers arrived in the 1700s, they brought a different relationship to the land. Ownership, boundaries, permanent structures. The area that would become Stowe was part of a patchwork of farms spread across what was then rural Montgomery County. Life revolved around agriculture, wheat, corn, livestock, and the slow rhythms of planting and harvest. There were no town centers yet, just roads connecting one place to another. The road that changed everything. Stowe's fate was tied to transportation. Not rivers, not canals, but roads. As southeastern Pennsylvania grew, routes connecting Philadelphia to the interior became increasingly important. Wagons carrying goods, mail, and people passed through the area daily. Eat a meal, exchange news. Then blacksmiths, general stores, small workshops. Without intending to, a crossroads became a community. A village emerges. By the early 1800s, the area known as Stowe had become a recognizable village. Families settled nearby, drawn by convenience rather than opportunity. This was not a boomtown. There were no mines or mills driving explosive growth. Stowe grew because it was useful. Farmers needed services. Travelers needed supplies. Merchants needed customers. Homes clustered near businesses. Churches followed families. Schools followed children. Slow growth, but steady. The railroad era. The 19th century brought change and noise. Railroads transformed Pennsylvania, and while Stowe was never a major rail hub, nearby lines connected the region to larger markets. Suddenly, goods moved faster. Mail arrived sooner. People traveled farther. Stowe remained small, but no longer isolated. Its residents could reach Philadelphia in hours instead of days. Farm products reached urban markets. Outside influences filtered in. Progress arrived quietly and stayed. Industry without dominance. Unlike many Pennsylvania towns, Stowe was never defined by a single industry. There were small manufacturing operations, local shops, warehouses, and service businesses, but nothing large enough to dominate the town's identity. That would become one of Stowe's defining traits. It adapted instead of specializing. When farming declined, commerce rose. When manufacturing shifted, retail followed. When highways arrived, Stowe adjusted again. The automobile age. The 20th century reshaped Stowe more than any century before it. Cars changed everything. Roads widened, traffic increased. Businesses turned outward toward passing drivers. Gas stations, auto shops, strip-style commercial development. Stowe became something new, a town people passed through as often as they lived in. Residential neighborhoods expanded behind commercial corridors, creating the familiar pattern that still defines the borough today. Incorporation and identity. In 1945, Stowe officially incorporated as a borough. This was not a dramatic moment. No fireworks, no sudden transformation, but it mattered. Incorporation gave residents control over zoning, services, and local governance. It allowed Stowe to shape its own future rather than being absorbed or overlooked. From that point on, Stowe became responsible for itself. Modern Stowe. Today, Stowe is a small but resilient borough. It is not flashy. It does not try to be something it isn't. It serves homes, businesses, commuters, families. Its strength lies in continuity. The same roads that created it still define it.
The same adaptability that sustained it continues to guide it. Stowe has survived because it never depended on one thing. Closing reflection. Some towns are built around resources. Others are built around ambition. Stowe was built around movement, a place where roads crossed, where people stopped, and where some decided to stay. Its history is quiet but enduring, and sometimes those are the towns that last the longest.
Is stranger than you think. From forgotten battles to bizarre inventions, we uncover the stories that make you say, "What the history?"